Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Wednesday, December 23rd, 2015. Ra here in the Lynn-Life, Asha in the Jamie Body Mind, other teammates in other aspects of the physical dimension and a little bit into the non-physical, but most of us in the physical and all of us in the subatomic from the perspective of the spirit world viewers.
That's true.
The next deadline is Christmas Day, December 25th at sunset. We've been working toward that deadline so far this morning. It's not likely that that's going to change now that the camera is turned on, but we're not pulling on the session. As always, our foundational intention is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions, to manifest the divine plan, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing. The data very clearly showing we need a collective restart, because what's under the Band-Aid, the hidden truth about life in these collections of dimensions are, I don't want to do it. I don't want to live my soul plan. And you can't make me. And that's the kicker, and it's true. None of us can make any of us do anything else other than what we already wish to do. Therefore, wiser minds above have come to the obvious conclusion that a collective restart is what's necessary, and that has held true in experiment upon experiment upon experiment for well over a year now. With that, the videoed portion of today's efforts begin. I see a pencil point tapping, and this indicates this is starting with a lesson that's already in play. What do I know? I know the foundational assignment for the Search for Truth pillar is to upgrade the standards of integrity to that which will actually work to manifest the divine plan.
That's true.
And whatever large presence is asking these questions says, that's right. What else do I know? I know that some time ago it started to become apparent to us that there wasn't anybody that we could find up there who had higher standards of integrity than we were already working toward, which was helpful because it encouraged us to stretch even longer.
That's
How
true.
high must we reach in order to connect with the presence of true integrity? It was helpful. What else do I know? I know that we probably then had a twist in our thinking and began to think of ourselves as, I'm a person of very high integrity.
That's true.
And I acknowledge that that did seem to happen, and that a couple of days ago we were given basically a pop quiz. It's like, okay, sport, let's see, how much integrity do you have? And boom, we were given a test that we all failed.
That's true.
Except for the container. The container didn't give up when
That's true.
all the souls were doing just crazy things, and the nature realm's presences were doing crazy things. All the sentiences, by and large, were doing crazy things.
That's true.
This one sentience noticed all that, noticed none of the souls were answering their beepers, noticed that no one was doing what it was they were supposed to be doing, noticed that the messages were piling to the sky of what needed to be done right now, and no one was coming to get the messages. And she said, how high must I reach in order to connect with the presence of true integrity? How deep must we reach in order to find truth upon which we can all base our lives?
That's true.
Which was exactly the right response. So we have an opportunity to work with this. And I did very poorly. And as the person purportedly leading the community, that became really obvious that it wasn't really me that was leading.
That's true.
It was a combination of me, Ra, and the seat. The seat itself has value. We've talked about this before. Asha, we've talked about how when you're in the seat, well, sometimes you act really strange in the seat, but your abilities in the seat are different than your abilities out of the seat.
That's true.
My abilities in the seat are different than my abilities out of the seat.
That's true.
And we've also noticed that enabling is invariably harmful to the enabled party.
That's definitely true.
And we enabled you for maybe 6 months to not
Something
step
like
up
that,
and do
that's
your
true.
work. And I enabled me, and the wiser minds above allowed me to be enabled for something like 2 weeks.
Longer, maybe.
Longer, maybe.
And me too, and Black Wolf too, we enabled you. I take responsibility for that.
And I take responsibility for it too, and wiser minds above are taking responsibility for it, and hence the need for the shake-up.
That's
Boom!
true.
So we got a lovely little shake-up the other day when we opened that portal into another dimension, and another foundational teaching of the Search for Truth community
Yes.
was once more tested and revealed to be true. What's true in and of itself isn't necessarily what's needed.
That's true.
Is it true is the first test of speaking or relating
Action.
or
That's
action.
true.
Is it helpful is the second test.
That's true.
And what we discovered is at the base of thing one, when we dug all the way down and got to the very bottom of the energy body of thing one, it was solidly lies to the bottom.
That's true.
And what was on the other side of that bottom granite thickness, congealed essence of lies was an entirely new set of dimensions with different rules. And when we opened up that portal, or they opened it up, when the portal began to crack, like the crack in the cosmic egg,
That's true.
what came through was truthful.
That's true.
And we noticed by observing in hindsight what had occurred was that while it was truthful, it's not helpful in supporting us in living our soul plans. Luce came closest to doing the right thing. He answered his beeper.
That's true.
And then he started doing what the situation called for. And I can't quite tell where the question is coming from, and it might be an unspoken question in the minds of many who are listening right now. And that question is, well then, sport, they're talking to me, why are we listening to you? Why isn't Luce the one there at the seat? It's a combination of reasons, including Luce doesn't want the seat.
That's true.
And that his personality isn't well suited toward leadership. He's a genius. He's an artist and a scientist. He's a researcher and a creator. He isn't a good leader, and I don't think he's arguing with me.
No, I think that's how he defines himself.
Yes. And I have the capacity to be a good leader when my energy body is good.
That's true.
And I don't fight the seat with regard to energy alignment. When I get into the seat, I begin, although I did, you know what, I did, and that was probably the final straw. When I got into the seat, the last time I got into it before this one,
Yes.
and I said, oh, interesting, I need to adjust the seat, rather than saying, oh, interesting, I need to adjust my channels, I see how they've gotten shorter and
that's
fatter.
true.
That is probably what caused wiser minds above to say, okay, this experiment's over.
That's true.
Now it's time for, and they're doing this motion, the reveal.
That's true.
It's show and tell time. Let's see what these people are actually made of. And it's like that beautiful story about Ram Dass when he had his stroke.
That's true.
He had the courage and the grace after the fact to admit that in the moment when he needed it, none of his teachings came back to him, and all he was doing was just lying on the floor looking up at the pipe.
That's true.
And I found myself in that identical situation, as in the moment when I needed all that I had been teaching all this time, it wasn't there for me because I wasn't in the seat.
That's true.
And the seat itself did the right thing.
That's true.
Luce answered his beeper, got into the seat, and also did the right thing. But then Luce has certain temperamental qualities that cause him to become very anxious when untruths are present.
That's true.
And surely by now we've all noticed we're all swimming in seas of lies.
That's true.
So Lou spends much of his time in anxious ways of being, and that is not
helpful.
It's not helpful to the community. And the seat combined with me, should I get my act together, provides a leader that's very calm, well-reasoned, and does the right thing pretty consistently.
That's true.
Black Wolf's experiment also showed that he can be a good leader when in the seat, that his fatal flaw is anger, and when he was in the seat for long enough, it was completely worn away to the point that he thought he had changed fundamentally and that the anger was gone. And what we discovered in the time since he left the seat is that the anger is in fact back. It's still there. It never went away. The seed didn't go away. And I wasn't in the seat long enough for my seed to go away, which is of wasting time doing things that aren't what's on target to getting the job done.
That's true.
And I fell right back into that old habit. However, when combined with the seat, both Black Wolf and I have proven to be effective leaders, I believe. I believe that to be true.
That to be true.
I see how I have acknowledged my understanding of when the next deadline is, but have not expressed in my own words what I believe the assignment to be.
That's true.
I believe the assignment is that we are to dig straight down, or perhaps drill straight down, drill bit being the way we would go about this, at the bottom of the Search for Truth pillar, out the bottom, extending down deeper, 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 until we connect with that truth upon which we can all base our lives. Now, we're not to break through whatever the barrier is by sunset on December 25th.
That's true.
But we're to get down there. And then there are other things that come in rapid succession after that, between the deadline on Christmas Day and the deadline on New Year's Eve.
That's true. Nodding, feeling nodding.
Yes. So that's a reasonable understanding of the assignment and the deadline. Yes, I see thumbs up.
That's true.
Okay. Onward ho.
Onward ho.
And why just a drill bit, not a big hole? Because we saw that opening up a portal into truth the way we did it before
was extremely disruptive.
Caused our entire team to just drop their tools, forget about their soul plan, and go for truth, because they had been craving truth so long. These are truth seekers here.
True.
And they crave truth. And while there can be true things that are helpful, there can also be true things that are not helpful.
That's true.
And that dimension's frequencies seem to just cause our dimensional team to shut down. And we saw that by watching Glenn and Betty Jean, who were stationed just this side of the portal. And thank goodness for Glenn and Betty Jean having the integrity and the solidity in their energy bodies that they have, because they didn't get pulled through the portal along with everybody else. They held to their post. They knew that their post was right there and the assignment was stay here, and they did that. But their minds just went blank and they almost turned into wax mannequins.
That's true.
They forgot about their soul plan.
That's true. I just realized something.
What?
A very long time ago, we were working on a planet called Baobab.
Yes.
Where all of the people had turned into wax mannequins.
Oh, wow.
And everything was fake. There were fake walls and fake trees.
Yes.
And all the wax mannequins.
Yeah.
And we were walking around this planet wondering, what happened? What happened here?
Maybe they opened that portal.
That's possible, because they looked much like how Glenn and Benny Jean looked the other day.
Oh, that's fascinating. We'll go back and review that.
That's true.
In the log and in the footage.
That's true.
Okay. But for now, between now and sunset on December 25th, we get drill bit down to where what's in between us and truth upon which we can base our lives is openable.
That's true.
There's the door. And how do we do that? They really want to make sure we understand. We direct our questions to drill bit. How deep must we go in order to find truth upon which we can base our lives? And if we stop that sentence too soon, then her angle of search is wider than it needs to be.
That's true.
We were asking, how deep do we need to go to find a presence of truth and integrity? Well, boom, there's one, and it's closer.
That's
now, how
true.
deep do we have to go in order to find truth on which we can base our lives? Oh, that's much farther.
That's true.
Got to go another 1,000 parsecs. Okay,
That's true.
Here we go. What's being shown to me is that rotunda from the old days. It's in the library, the way this energy body looked. It was a rotunda.
That's true.
And stairs were spiraling up the inside of the rotunda, and then there would be these big gaps in the stairs, and then the stairs would pick up again higher on up the rotunda. And as presumably you, Asha, in the Lynn-Life were walking up the stairs, you would get to the places where the gaps were and would try everything you could think of to
That's
get
true.
up to the other side of the gap, and nothing would work, and nothing would work, and nothing would work. And then
That's
one
true.
day you'd wake up and you'd be on the other side of it. And I think the point is we go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, and then divine intervention occurs.
That's true.
And this is going to be true in this effort every step of the way. It's not going to be different. So we go for this December 25th assignment and then ask for divine intervention to make it right. A good closing process, in other words.
That's true.